Nammalvar says, Karanda palul neyye pol, ivatrulengum kandugol. Karanda palul neyye pol. Milk, your cow gives milk. Karanda palul neyye pol. Of course, ghee is found in milk, but you can't see. We have to do something. Some actions are required to make ghee out of milk. First, you have to ferment. Then, you have to churn that the buttermilk, make it buttermilk, churn it, get butter out of it, and then burn butter. You get ghee. So, there are so many actions that are required to get ghee out of milk. Similarly, when Upanishads become Bhagavata, something is required. Vedavyasa, he churned this great ocean of Upanishads and gave us Bhagavata Purana. So it is ghee, it is more valuable, but people don't realize that. Ikshunapapi madhyantam sharkara vyapyatishtati. So again, we reconfirm, you can chant Bhagavata Purana and wake these two. The next chapter talks about Sanaka, Sanat Kumara, and all the rishis gather in a place called Anandavanam, requesting Narada to chant, to recite Bhagavata Purana in 7 days. Why 7 days? That's very important now. Kutra karyo maya yajnaha sthalam tad vachyatamiha shrunu narada vakshyamaha vinamraya vivekine gangadwara samipetu tatam anandanamakam. Close to Ganga, in the banks of river Ganga, tatam anandanamakam. There is a forest named Anandavana. So you gather there. Let all the rishis, all the holy rivers of India, all the holy shrines, they will all be seated by the side of you. Eva muktva kumaraste naradena samam tataha. Once this was arranged, somehow many rishis started pouring in. He gives a list of them. Bhruguhu, Vashishtaha, Chavanascha, Gautamaha, Medhatihi, Atitihi, Devalaha, Devarataha. In fact, we should be blessed to at least list them. There are so many. Bhrugu, Vashishta, Chavana, Gautama, Medha, Atiti, Devala, Devarata, Ramasthatha, Gadisutascha Shakalaha, Mrukandu Putra, Atri Pippaladaha, Yogeshwaro, Vyasa Parasharocha, Chaya Shukaha, Jajali Jagmu Mukhyaha, Sarvepyami Muniganaha, Sahaputra Shishyaha, Swastribhir Ayuruhu Ati Pranayena Yuktaha. They were also happy visiting this site. They came and gathered. All the 4 Vedas took human forms and gathered here. All the 18 Puranas, here you note the point. There are 18 Puranas. Here Rishi says 17 Puranas other than Bhagavata Purana took human forms and sat there. Because Bhagavata cannot sit, that has to be recited. So other than Bhagavata Purana, all 17 visited. Vedantanicha Vedascha, Mantras Tantraha Samurtayaha. All the mantras and tantras in this universe. All Vedanta and Veda. Dasha Sapta Puranani. Dasha is 10. Sapta is 7. Dasha Sapta Puranani. 17 Puranas gathered. Puranani. Shat Shastrani Tathayohu. Gangadhyaha. Saritastatra. Pushkaradi Saramsicha. Atate Varnate Abhi. Mahima Shukashastrajaha. He started. When Narada began, Bhagavan himself visited. He came not alone. He came along with all his bhaktas. Shlokardham, Shlokapadam va, Nityam Bhagavatodbhavam, Patasva Sukhamukhe naiva, Yadichasi Parangatin. Narada might have had the skill. He would have been equipped to recite all the 18,000 verses of Bhagavata. Unfortunately, we are not. Then what do we do? Is it that if I recite all 18,000, I benefit? If I recite 17,999, you lose. Is it so? It is not so. He says, Shukashastra Kathayascha Phalena Samatam Nayet. For all 18,000, if this is the benefit. For one shloka, it's the same benefit. For half the shloka, it's the same. For quarter of the shloka, it's the same. Now, will anybody go to 18,000 if this is said? Once it is said, then we will all take shelter in that last 1/4 of that shloka. It's not so. A person who listens to that 1/4 will automatically be rushing. He would certainly want to listen to the next. He would certainly be pushed to listen to the whole shloka. One shloka, you listen to the meaning of one. Of course, you become very inquisitive to listen to the second. And to the second, one adhyaya. To an adhyaya, one skanda. To one skanda, all the 12 skandhas. This is one way of it. The other way is, even if a quarter shloka can benefit you so much, why not all the 18,000? We will think those ways. If a quarter shloka or one shloka can help me so much, then why not I go? Vishnu Sahasranama. It's enough you recite the names. No need to know the meaning. It's true. Does it mean that if you sit down to study the meaning, it's wrong? It's not banned. It is said that even without meaning, the names will help you. Which would mean, even without meaning, if they help me with meaning, it will be much better. It's more. So we must take it in the right perspective. Shlokartham, shlokapadam va, nityam bhagavadotbhavam. Yada krishnaha dharam tyaktva, swapadam gantumudhyataha, ekadasham, parishupya, uddhavo vakyam abravit. Now Sanaka and Sanat Kumara reveal the secret and the glory of Bhagavata Purana. When Bhagavan Shri Krishna was departing this material world, Uddhava, his very intimate disciple, was with Krishna. He stopped Krishna. You cannot leave us alone. You cannot abandon. How can we live? If you start, let us follow you. It was only Ramavatara who was accompanied by all the inmates of Ayodhya. When Rama left to his heavenly abode, Vaikuntha, he did not leave anybody in Ayodhya. For that matter, Valmiki says, there was no citizen for Lava and Kusha to rule, because everyone departed. Lava Kusha visited all the neighboring kingdoms, collected good people, and he started a new kingdom. That's what Valmiki mentions. Annu Sharasharangalai Vaihundattetti Adalarava Pahayeri Ashurardhammai Vennu. Kulashekara says this. Nammalvar also confirms. He says, Karpar, I Ramabhirana Yallal Matchun Karparo, Purpa Mudala Pullerumbadi Onninniye, Narpal Ayothil Vadum Sharasharam Muchavum, Narpalu Kvitanan, Nanmuhanar Percha Nattule. When Rama departed, he didn't leave anyone behind. He took everyone with him. Unfortunately, when Krishna departed, there was no one to witness even. You can't find one person to narrate what happened. There was no witness, and Bhagavan wantedly sent them off. He did not want anybody with him to see what was happening. That was his wish. We will be, of course, dealing with those chapters on the 6th or the 7th session of this lecture series. So Krishna, when he started, Uddhava pleaded, don't leave us alone. Krishna said, you can't say so. Vairagyam is very vital. I have taught Vairagyam in Bhagavad Gita. Oh Uddhava, have I not taught Vairagyam to you? You must become a Viraga. You must be full of Vairagyam, detached from this world. Uddhava replied, yes, you taught us to detach from this world, not from you. Whereas you are talking about detachment towards Krishna. It is attachment to Bhagavan and detachment to material world. That is what he taught in Bhagavad Gita. Whereas he is talking the contrary now. Uddhava said, no, you can't leave us. Krishna gave an alternate solution. I cannot be here anymore. I have to leave, and I cannot take you along with me anymore. You go to Badrikashrama, Gandhamatana Parvata, and meditate on me. Whenever you want to see me, whenever you want to touch me, whenever you want to feel me, I am now physically entering in Bhagavata Purana. You recite, you will feel intimate to me. Bhaktascha saguno jataha nirakaropi chinmayaha ityudbhavavacha shrudva prabhase achintaya dharihi. All this happened in Prabhasa Kshetra. That is the place from where Krishna departed. Prabhasa. Do you know Veraval? This is an industrial town in Gujarat. Next to Veraval is Prabhasa Kshetra. Bhalka Tirtha. Hindi la chonna Bhalka Tirtha. This place in Sanskrit is known as Prabhasa Kshetra. It is from there Shri Krishna departed. Swakiyam yadbhavet tejaha tacha bhagavate adhat tirodhaya pravishtoyam Srimad Bhagavatarnavam teneyam vangmayi murtihi pratyaksha vartate harehe. Now let me enter. Uddhava, you are a witness. I enter Bhagavata Purana. Now what can you do with Bhagavata? Teneyam vangmayi murtihi sevanat. Serve Bhagavata, which would mean as much as possible propagate Bhagavata. That is the service you render. Second, Shravanat. Wherever it is rendered, sit there and religiously listen to that. With a focused mind, listen. Shravanat. Pathat. You can read for yourself. Darshanat. If nothing is possible, at least have a darshan of the holy book. That's the last thing one can say. Padinu sollala. நீ படிக்கவேன்னு சொல்லலாம், படித்தா கேளுன்னு சொல்லலாம். ஒன்றுமே முடியலண்ணா புஸ்தத்தியான்னு பாரு. வேறு என்ன தான் சொல்ல முடியும்? இப்போ பாடனாத்து ஸ்ரவணாத்து அப்போ என்ன அர்த்தம்? ஈவன் தட் would benefit you. Even if that even can do, why not read? Why not listen? Why not meditate? Patanat, Sevanat, Shravanat, Darshanat, what would happen? Papa Nashini. All my papas are cleared. I get purified. Bhaktihi sutautau tarunau grihitva premaika rupa sahasa virasit. Then Narada started reciting. It was Skanda 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 12. And when he was just to conclude the last skanda, he saw both Jnana and Vairagya started moving. They moved. They opened their eyes. They started yawning. They got up. They started talking. So that was the last thing Narada would have expected to happen. He never, because he thought only Upanishads had that power. He never believed that Bhagavata had that power, because Bhagavata is full of stories. Upanishad is full of philosophy and concepts. We think listening to philosophy, listening to concept would mean that I am a proud person. Whereas listening to stories, probably people who are still not realized to do that. இதுதான் நம்ம நினச்சிருக்கிறது. இப்போ கண்ணனை பற்றி கதை சொன்னால் அது தெரியாதவா உட்காந்து கேட்பா. உபனிஷத்தாக இருந்தால் நாங்கள் உட்காந்து கேட்போம். இப்படிங்கிறது தான் தப்புங்கிறார். இப்போ யார், வெதர் இட் இஸ் ஸ்டோரி ஆர் த உபனிஷத், யூ ஹாவ் டு ரெவியர் தம் ஈக்குவலி. இன்ஃபேக்ட் மோர் தென் உபனிஷத், the glorious pastimes of Krishna would only cleanse you. If I have to be cleansed, it's by what? Not by Upanishad. I can't go even closer to Upanishads. Whereas only the stories are just by the side of me. They are closer to me. Uchuhu Kumaraha. So finally, Jnana and Vairagya got up. Bhakti was quite pleased by the action of Narada. Atha Vaishnava Chitteshu Drishtva Bhaktim Aloukikam Nijalokam Parityajya Bhagavan Bhaktavatsalaha. Now seeing that Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya are up and all the people around are dancing and chanting Bhagavata Purana, Krishna himself descended from his world. Vanamali, Ghanashyamaha, Pitavasaha, Manoharaha. He was so charming. Manoharaha. Vanamali, wearing his Vanamala, his great divine garland. Ghanashyamaha, he was so dark hued like a cloud. Pitavasaha, wearing his glorious Pitambara. It was quite yellow in color with silver and gold embroidery done. Kanchi Kalaparuchaha, Lasan Mukutakundalaha, wearing his earrings and his crest jewel, his Kirita, Tribhanga, Lalitascharu, Kaustubhena Virajitaha, Koti Manmatha Lavanyaha. He would easily beat at least a crore Manmatha. We all accept that Manmatha is too beautiful. He is so charming. But before Krishna, he would go as a beggar. Vaikunthavasino yecha Vaishnavaha Uddhavadayaha Tat Kathashravanarthante Gudharupena Samsthitaha. All the satsangis of this universe gathered there in their own form and in a disguised form. Kripalu Bhirlokahitam Vicharya Prakashitaha Kopi Navina Marthaha Munjajnanam Prajarupam Balishtha Karmano Gatihi Shrunu Vipramayatedya Prarabdhantu Vilokitam. At this point of time, there is another story added to talk about the greatness of Bhagavata Purana. This is about Atmadeva, a very pious soul. He lived in Narmada Tata, in Tungabhadra Tate Purvam, Abhut Pattanamuttamam. Tungabhadra was a river. The banks of river Tungabhadra, there was a city. Person was Atmadeva and his wife was Dundhukari. He was nice, he was very pious. But unfortunately, his wife was too greedy. She wanted all pleasure on earth. She wanted to earn everything for herself. He tried to convince her. Did not happen. They didn't get a child for many years. His wife mentioned to him, why don't you go somewhere? Try to get a child. Try to get the blessings of some rishis so that we get a child. He went to the forest. There was a rishi muni seated there. He prostrated, requested him, can you help me? Can you give me some blessing that would get me a child? He said, you would be better without a child. The moment you have, go to any astrologer, he will tell you, I think you are in trouble. For what? It's because of your daughter or son. Of course, anybody can say this. Not necessary to see my jataka to say this. யாருக்கு என்ன கொடுத்துருந்தாலும் ஜோசியர்கிட்ட போனேன், ஏதோ உங்கள் பொண்ணு பிள்ளையால் உங்கள் கஷ்டம் போல் இருக்கேன்னா, யாரான்னு இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல போகிறோமான்னு. எத்திர வர்ணாக ஸ்வதர்மேன சத்ய சத் கர்ம தத்பராக So he said he advised Atmadeva not to have children. You will be better without children. But Atmadeva was not convinced. He said, you must do me, give me something so that I get a child. Katham roshit vipratvam kate chinta baliyasi maddattam daiva grinhanti pritya deva dijatayaha. He fetched a mango for him. He gave a mango, took a fruit, go, give this to your wife, you will get a good son. He came back. He offered it to his wife. Unfortunately, within that time, his wife started thinking wild. She said, I think in this world, the blessed souls are a barren woman and a widow. Only these two are blessed because they don't have children. They don't have husband. Without these two, they can enjoy life. They need not work. If I get pregnant, then I can't do much work. Someone will be employed. They will take away my wealth and I will lose my youth. If I lose my youth, I won't look good. Even my husband may not like me. So better way is to not have children. So she decided, and what to do with the fruit now? It is she who wanted. Now the fruit is available. What to do with that? She had a sister, and an equally good sister. As equal as she is, the sister was also too good. She was pregnant. And these two entered into a contract. They said, I will give the fruit to our cow. Let the cow eat the fruit. I won't have a son. You will have a son. I will share my wealth with you. You let us proclaim your son to be mine. So this was the contract they entered. Vivekena bhavet kimme putram dehi baladapi nochet tyajaham pranat twadagre darshamurtayaha gokarnam tatsutam drishtva gokarnam namachakarot kiyatkalena taujatav tarunau tanaya vubhav gokarnaha panditaha jnani duntukari mahakalaha. Finally, they bartered. The sister's son became her son. He was known as Dundukari. This lady was named Dunduli. Son was Dundukari, as was the mother, was the son. He was more wicked than his mother. He wanted to give money. She pestered, pressurized her. She could not. And in fact, the son killed her mother. Finally, after some time, due to his treacherous acts, he fell in a well and killed himself. So Dundukari died. Dunduli died. Looking at all this, Atmadeva got frustrated, went to the forest, meditated and died. So all three of them were dead. But the cow had the fruit. The cow gave birth to a calf. It was not a pure calf. Instead, it had the 1 ear of a calf. It was a human being, as it was the blessing of that rishi. But it was born to a cow, so it had 1 ear as a calf, as the ear of a cow. He was named as Gokarna. Go, cow. Karna, ear. Gokarna. ஒரு காது மட்டும் ஒரு பசுவாட்டம் இருந்தது. So he was named as Gokarna. He was a great jnani. He was a jnani. Gokarnaha panditaha, the learned. Dundukari mahakalaha. Dundukari was wicked, whereas Gokarna was a pandita. Chauraha sarvajanadveshi paraveshma pradipakaha Gokarnastitrayarthartam nirgato yoga samsthitaha na dukkham na sukham tasya na vairina bibantavaha atyugra karmakartacha tat poshana vimodhadihi. Here, Gokarna went in pursuit of Brahman. He went from place to place. He listened to Jnani, whereas Dundukari went berserk. He killed himself. And since he was so wicked, he took the form of a bhuta, of a ghost. He could not be released of this material world. On one night, close to the city of Kashi and Gaya, our friend Gokarna was fast asleep. His brother, of course, because he took birth in the same home, his brother Gokarna, his brother Dundukari, took the form of a ghost and started knocking his door. He opened. Who are you? Why are you a ghost waking me up? I am your brother Dundukari. He said, I heard that you died, and for you to get salvated, I already performed Gaya Shraddham in your name. Why are you still wandering in the form of this ghost? You could have already been attained salvation. Why didn't you not? He replied, my papas are not going to be cleansed by Gaya Shraddham. They are too little for them. So what to do? You must do something more to release me of this bondage. Vatya rupadharo nityam dhavan dashititontaram Sita tapa pariklishtaha niraharaha pipasitaha. I have not had, I have not drunk, I have not done anything. I am a ghost. Can you Give me some upaya by which I would be released. He thought. Gokarna could not find any great upaya. Next day morning, Surya was traveling in the sky. Gokarna stopped Surya and asked him, "What should I do to release my brother? Tell me a way out. What should I do?" Surya replied, "Can you recite Bhagavata Puranam in 7 days? I am sure your brother will be released of his clutches. Srimad Bhagavatam Mukti Saptaham Vachanam Kuru. Srimad Bhagavatat Mukti. Mukti is by Bhagavata Shravana Patana. Saptaha Vidhina Kuru. Do it in 7 days. Iti Suryavacha Sarvaihi Dharma Rupancha Vishrutam Sapretopi Tadayataha Sthanam Pasyanitastataha. He returned home. He asked the ghost, "Now I am going to perform, I am going to recite Bhagavata Purana. Will you leave?" Once listening, after listening, you must leave. It shook his head. "Yes, I will leave. I will not hold this anymore." But Gokarna was very doubtful. "How do I know that you are released? How do I know that you have left this body?" The ghost replied, "Here is a big bamboo. It has 7 portions. I will reside in these 7 portions. The first day you complete, I'll break the first and leave. The second day, I will break the second. Once you complete the 7th day, I'll break the bamboo and leave. And that would be a fact. That would be the evidence that I have left this world. Dhanya Bhagavati Varta Preta Pida Vinashani." And it happened so. Prathamaskandataha Pattamakhyanam Dhenujaha Akarot. When he completed Prathamaskanda on the first day, it left the first portion. The second portion, the second day. The third day. And in fact, Gokarna was very surprised. He himself did not know the greatness of Bhagavata to this extent. Then he found that it can release Preta, Bhuta, Pishacha, and what not. Kampante Sarvapapani. All the papas shiver at the sight of Bhagavata Purana. Saptaha Shravane Sthite Asmakam Pralayam Sadhyaha Kathacheyam Karishyati Phalabedaha Kuto Jataha Prabruvantu Haripriyaha. Next day morning. The 7 days were over. Once it was over, the ghost left. But many people who had gathered around to listen to Bhagavata Purana, they did not attain salvation. Whereas the ghost attained. Gokarna was quite inquisitive. Next day he went and questioned Surya Bhagavan. All of them listened together. Why was that only only Dundukari got released? Why not all these people? Then Surya replied, "You might have recited, but it depends on the listener. It does not depend on the Vakta. It's not on the Prokta, but it is on the Shrota. One who listens, they all listen. They lend their ears equally, but not their mind and devotion equally. If you are all listening together, some might take it in the right sense, some might not. Some may think that it is now 8:55. We don't know when is it going to conclude. Is it going to be 9 or 9:15 or 9:30? And when you think of this, you unfortunately leave the message. We forget the message. So it is not that the Vakta discriminates, the Vakta equally delivers, whereas the Shrota differentiates. He is different and his upbringing is different. His birth is different. His makeup is different. His reception is different. Everything is different. So Phalabedaha, there is difference in benefit too. Phalabedaha Kuto Jataha Prabruvantu Haripriyaha Shravanasya Vibhedena Phalabedotra Samsthitaha Shravanantu Kritam Sarvaihi. Listening is done by all. Shravanantu Kritam Sarvaihi Tatha Mananamna Kritam. Whereas Mananam is not equal to all. Shravanam is equal, but Mananam is different. It is just not Shravanam that gives you. Shravanam must ultimately lead you to Mananam. And that, not Maranam, Mananam. Shravanam must lead you to meditation. And of course, meditation will finally lead you to that only. Because we all want that. Unless that happens, we can't reach Vaikuntham. Phalabedas tato jataha bhajanadapi manada shravane masi gokarnaha kathamuche tatapunaha. So now we have seen 2 stories, 2 happenings. One on Bhakti, Mukti, Jnana, Vairagya. So Bhagavata Kathashravana could bring back the youth of Jnana Vairagya even, which was not possible by Vrindavana and Yamuna. The second story, it could even release a Preta, Bhuta, Pishacha from all the bondages. So these 2 are the important aspects. Now Saptaha Vidhi. athate sampravakshyamaha saptaha shravane vidhin sahayaihi vasubhischaiva prayaha sadhyaha vidhismritaha. Why this saptaha vidhi? Why is it customary to go by saptaha? Let me recite a shloka which talks about the portions to be covered in each day. First day, Manukardama Sambada Paryantam Prathamehani. On day 1, from the beginning verse till Manu Kardama conversation. The conversation between Manu and Kardama. Second day, Bharata Akhyana Paryantam Ditiyehani Vachayet. It is still the story of Adi Jadabarada. He was a great Jnana Yogi. It is still that. Third day, Tritiye Divase Kuryat Saptamaskandha Puranam. Saptamaskandha talks about Nrsimhavatara and Sri Praklada Varada. Praklada Narasimha till the 7th chapter. 7th skandha would be day 3. Day 4, Krishna Pradurbhava. Krishna Janana, the birth of Krishna in Mathura. Krishna Avidbhava Paryantam Chaturthe Divase Vadet. Then on the 5th day, Rukmin Yudvaha Paryantam Panchamehani Shasyate. Till the wedding of Sri Krishna with Rukman. Then on the 6th day, Sri Hamsa Akhyana Paryantam Shattehani Vadet Sudhihi. Vadet Sudhihi, the one, the realized soul, the wise one, recites till Hamsa Akhyana. Hamsa Upadesha. Sriman Narayana incarnates as Hamsa and preaches the glorious philosophy to Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma. Then on the last day, Saptame tu Dine Kuryat Purtim Bhagavatasya Vai. On the last day, Sri Krishna departs and he talks about the glory and the greatness of Bhagavata Purana and also the difficulties faced by us all in Kali Yuga. That is the last day. Why is this 7th day and how should we invite people to this 7-session series? It is all mentioned here. Vaktra Kshauram Prakartavyam Kartavyam Dina Darvak Vyatakhye. The day we begin, before that, Vakta has to shave. Vakta Kshauram Kartavyam. Krishna Muddishya Mantrena Charet Puja Vidim Kramat. He has to invocate Lord Shri Krishna by this Puja Vidhi. With folded hands, he has to offer his obeisances to Krishna and recite this Samsara Sagare Magnam Dinammam Karunanithe. We must all at least in our mind mentally recite this. Hey Samsara Sagare Magnam Dinammam Karunanithe. I am absorbed in the great deluge, ocean of samsara. Hey Karunanidhe, the ocean of compassion. I have an ocean and you have an ocean. My ocean is samsara sagara. Your ocean is compassion and karuna. Only that ocean can dispel this ocean. Samsara sagare magnam dinammam karunanidhe karma moha grihi tangam mamuddhara bhavarnavad. Bhavarnamam is bhavardavi. Bhava arnava is sagara. Bhava is samsara. You can only take me out, pull me out of his samsara sagara. Srimad Bhagavatasyapi tatah puja prayatnataha. Then we have to offer puja to the text Bhagavata Purana. And the organizers have to offer a golden seed to Bhagavata Purana. I will have to ask you only now. Srimad Bhagavatakyoyam Pratyakshaha Krishna Yevahi Svikritosmi Mayanatha Muktyartham Bhavasagare. Now, me wanting to get released from samsara sagara, oh Krishna, I am pleading to you. Manoratho Madiyoyam Sapalaha Sarvatha Tatha. Can you grant my wish? You are a wish granting creeper. Don't we say Kamadhenu Kalpaka Vriksham? Oh Krishna, you are the Kalpaka Vriksham. Can you grant me what I wish? Nirvignena iva kartavyaha dasoham tava keshava. I have no power to conclude this rightfully. Whereas it is you and your wish which must make me conclude this successfully. So it is 7 days. In 7 days, anything may happen around the world. Nobody knows that. Whether the Vakta or Karta or Shrota, nobody is permanent. We do not know. We may begin. We may not conclude. So plead to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. It is you who have to successfully conclude this.